Hello. Welcome back again to the Focus Group. This being your only home that you are ready for. I'm sure you've missed us for quite some time, lakini we are back, hyped and ready to give you the content yenye tunajua mumemiss for some time. Yes. The lost son mwenye alisema wagawie zake aende, zimeisha amerudi.
It's called the prodigal son.
The prodigal son.
No, I'm not the prodigal son per se, but people had to be a little bit busy. And now we can't say that we are back. We're just picking it from where we left as we proceed.
Yes.
Yeah, and just a reminder, this is still the Focus Show. Find us on our YouTube channel at Sharon Paul Media and Thuku Mita Thuku. Please make sure that you follow, subscribe, and please make sure that you leave a comment there so that we can get to know what best works for you and what you would really like to get from us. Na vile vile katika mtandao wa kijamii wa Facebook, Thuku Mita Thuku and Sharon Paul SP. We are live on Thuku Mita Thuku on Facebook and live on Sharon Paul Media on YouTube. Sasa nilikuwa nataka kidogo tu. Unakumbuka kidogo tu. Some time back tulikuwa na bado yupo mwanamuziki fulani anaitwa Jose Chameleone kutoka nchi ya Uganda.
Kageni sana.
Rafiki nani?
Maina Kageni.
Rafiki Maina. Si wao yuko na ile Tubonge Tuesday. Ndio nilikuwa nasema hapo, it's been a long time since we were here, but we are glad to be back. While we were away, a lot of things happened in all political sphere, academic sphere, health, and most recently in the sports arena. Apart from that, in political sphere, we've been having the bipartisan talks.
Yes.
Ambapo mrengo zote za kisiasa wamekuwa wakikutana wajaribu kuona wataweza kupata kusikizana na uhiano mwafaka. Uhiano mwafaka.
Nimejua Kiswahili.
Ili tuweze kuona pale ambapo our lovely country Kenya is going on, and this has been happening live in the ukumbi wa Bomas of Kenya. However much we've been away, we've not equally been following keenly just to get to understand ni yepi ambayo wanaendelea. Sijui uko na maoni gani kuhusu hii bipartisan and the bipartisan talks, na unaona itatufikisha wapi?
Actually, Bwana Sharon,
yes,
just to take you back a bit, there's a poll done by, we did a poll with one Mr. Joshua, Infosat, on the bipartisan talks. We've been following them very closely. As I briefed you earlier, we have a very that is going to launch very soon on the bipartisan talk. And some of the issues we had from the respondents, let me just touch a bit on that, was if these talks are so hectic and it is so damning, do I use that word? That these people managing talks, and let's mention a few names, Akina Kimani Ichung'wah, the same people condemning this. Keep in mind that these people are collecting very huge amounts in allowances.
Yeah, I written somewhere that it's going to cost the taxpayer 100 million Kenyan shillings to have these bipartisan talks. But they are still spending the 100 million. Our very able and honorable Deputy President, Mr. Rigiji, alikuwa anasema hakuna pali mambo inaenda.
Yes. Exchequer hacheki.
Exchequer hacheki, lakini mwananchi anazidi kuumia.
Mwananchi anazidi kuumia.
As we all complain about the biting economic of the current Kenya, and food is going up, everything going up, especially now we who call ourselves the hustlers. Ingawaje wanaitwa vipi? Wale ambao ni wahusika kukimbiza masuala ya nchi, the owners of the company, the shareholders. Shareholders, sote tuko katika mtandao moja. Everybody is feeling the pinch of the harsh economic times. The bipartisan talks are still on. Muita was just briefing me before we came live on there's a study that it's done, and this is yet to come out so that we can really get to understand which is of what is going on that is not meeting the normal macho ya mwananchi. Mr. Thuku, brief us more. Wait for the final report that will come out of the study that was taken.
So basically, Bona Sharon, what I would like to say about this report, some of the grievances were the challenges collecting the data. First of all, what really bothered me is that, when you approach people trying to collect data, they do not automatically know firsthand what you're trying to do. It's only up until when you're explaining your whole
objectives of the
studies that they get to realize what this guy is trying to do. But basically, some of the respondents we met were quite harsh to us because they thought that we were part of the talks and we were trying to collect data on the talks. But I can promise you that people are frustrated with these talks.
Yeah, but however much, sorry for cutting you, however much they are trying to be harsh, there's that public participation.
Yes.
Point of where the general brought on board. So when, as a researcher, social researcher, you approach them for their thoughts and opinions about this kind of talks that are going on at Bomas of Kenya. Nashanga ni kwa nini wanakuwa wakali?
So basically,
the reception is not as...
that's what I was trying to explain. You see, most of the people, when these talks were engaged, and this is what people are missing, the whole point they're missing. His Excellency, the President of this country, Daktari, PhD1, he himself...
PhD1.
Sorry?
PhD1.
Yeah, it's PhD1. He's PhD1, he's Air Force One, he's the first one, he's everything one. So basically, His Excellency the President gave Kenyans a place where they could air their views. You see, much as the President got the 50+1, it means there's 50 or minus that voted in other directions. And these people are all Kenyans, and they would want to use it in the right manner. Our taxpayers, first of all. Second, these people offer their services to this country. They do their labor in this country. So these people needs you as one of them needs to be respected.
we people. I don't know why you're using the third person plural. We use the first person singular, which also addresses us as taxpayers.
I try to be very fair to the non-shareholders, but
another share.
But Sharon, be very, very honest with you. People are quite frustrated that this is a platform that should be given the utmost respect right now.
Yes.
These are talks that needs the most serious attention from both parties. But you'll find people, while these talks are going on, consuming a lot of exchequer's money, consuming a lot of time. People like Kimani Ichung'wah, who should be in parliament doing their job, are in other places working on these activities. But you'll find there are other people, there's a group of people who are not taking these talks seriously. There are a group of people who would want to tarnish, who would want to just drag whatever
is happening
through very not so good of a face.
Yeah,
but let me just clarify something, Bona Sharon.
Yes, please.
You see, the President would have said no. He was in that position to say, no, I do not want these talks. But you cannot expect the President to keep pushing for these talks to happen. The President, in his own goodwill, said that he wants these talks to go on. But you have other groups of people, let me call them groups, that feel that they are so entitled to the talks, they're so entitled to whatever is going on in this country that they would rather not have anybody else air their views in this country. which is very wrong, Bwana Sharon. And let me ask you a question. Maybe I'm missing the point here. I don't not know.
I don't bring the...
What's your views on these talks? Because you're a Kenyan, and I do not know where to classify you. Are you treatment or are you control?
When we bring research methodologies and terminologies in this talk, we'll be keeping off a lot of people.
Okay.
You know, when the bipartisan talks were brought forth,
yes,
the main intention was, one, to bring people out of
yes,
and then it was meant to bring a symbiotic so that when function agrees on other function agrees on this,
yes,
all at a pivot point where whereby every other person for political affiliation will feel that their grievances, their thoughts and opinions have been shared in relation to and in regards to bringing to the lowering down of one, the harsh economic times and hali ya maisha irudi chini, ushaelewa.
Yes.
So bringing it back to our, let me say, mere understanding, and what every other person wants, and even what the deputy president really wanted was, let's get off the streets. Let's, if it cannot go the parliament way, let's have the Azimio camp coming, and then we have the UDA coming, and sitting together, talking, airing the grievances and all the attributes that they had. They were going to share about opening the server, bringing down cost of living, and making sure that all political, both political and electoral mistakes do not repeat. So we, as the consumers of seeing what is happening, what we really like to see is all these things coming to stop. They give us the final wordings on this, and we get to see a way forward. Because one, when we see that our monies are still being used heavily, 100 million is not a little amount, especially in the Kenyan economy, and especially bringing it back to the point that they were saying the government inherited empty coffers. The faster this thing goes, the better.
You see, Bwana Sharon, it is quite interesting because I came across one gentleman who was very knowledgeable in this stuff.
Yeah.
And he gave me this ideas into my head, not ideas. He gave his opinion. And he told me the whole reason why we have this called a dialogue, everybody is open to bring, is entitled to their own opinion. Even one of the senators, when he brought about the conversation of the extension of the term limit, it is quite valid in that conversation.
A senator.
Because, yes, it's a senator.
Yeah,
yes, Seralgei.
Yeah.
And I believe every conversation, Bwana Sharon, that is brought on that table have the attention that it deserves. There should be very, the utmost respect to everybody. Because the reason why we have this conversation going on, Bwana Sharon, is for me as a shareholder, as you and a non-shareholder, and my apologies to put that into
you'll be surprised that I'm the majority shareholder of this company.
Yes. Is so everybody can feel their opinion is being taken to consideration. If whomever felt that they lost in one way or the other can feel they won in some way. Because you see, I've told you time and again that I do not believe there is any president that sets his own country to failure. Everybody who takes that mantle and works with it in that house called State House or wherever else, they are set for success.
Yeah.
Maybe they will want to do something here and there and itafanya wa fail, but I can promise you kila mtu anakuaga with a good intention at heart.
Yeah.
But you also cannot dispute the majority of people, the other side, who did not vote for him, and they feel that in some way their democracy their right was misused stepped on in the wrong ways.
Yeah, was being washed down the drain. And
Exactly.
I like the way you put it, the majority Who did not vote for him?
Who did not vote? So basically, in these talks, whatever comes to way, there's no rubbish in this thing. Yeah. Let it come, let it be put in the bucket. Let us have a report, because these people are going to do a report at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Let us have an exclusive report that says Sharon's affairs, Sharon's opinions were this and this and this. We cannot attend to this because of this and this and this. Actually, as I was saying earlier, the term limit. Yeah. To me personally, I'm not siding, and I know even UDA did a statement and said that is the opinion of one person. But this is the opinion I'm giving. I believe it is a very valid conversation that we should have. Bwana Sharon, do you know, to your surprise, the term limit thing was not thought through well?
Yeah, it's been a discussion that has been
yes, it was not thought through well, because the people who went to Naivasha and sat down and came out with the constitution, it is the only way that it is the only thing in the constitution that was decided, because it was a trend. Hii kitu imekuwa ikifaba happen hivi, so why not? Acha tuendelee hivyo. But here, Bwana Sharon, we are in a generation where we can make decisions with research-based fact. Yes, 5-year term. Why are we having a 5-year term? Why not 10 years? Why not 16 years? Why not infinity, Bwana Sharon? Why not keep a president there?
Why not 4 years?
Why not 4 years? Why not 2 years? You get my point? Why not 6 months later?
Most of these things, when we are pushing for them and we want them to pass, let them pass. And you also feel that when you are on the receiving end, they will be very fair for you. But now when you are passing them, because you are this on the end that is executing, you have to have questions. Just it is one issue that has never been tackled well. And even when 2010 Katiba was being passed, it is one issue that is still coming out that was never really well spoken about. So getting to the talks of the presidential term, however much the Nandi senator brought it, he says it's his own thoughts and opinion, but majority of the consumers of this information said, we are Litumwa, go and test water.
No, you see, Bwana Sharon, let me just hash kidogo. Bwana Sharon, there are things that people do not understand, and these are things I understood only when I got into the ground and started collecting data on this. The talks have faces. There's a point where it's called a dialogue. These people are having a conversation now. Nothing is set on stone. No decisions will be made in that conversation per now.
That's why.
So if you as Sharon want to say, nataka kila mtu akuwe na ndevu, that is a conversation that is being put on the discussion on that. You get my point? Right now, there is no decisions that are being made in that conversation. What is happening in those dialogues is exactly as the word states. They are having dialogue. It's nitasema nini na Kiswahili?
Wakona mjadala.
Exactly. Wana discuss. Watu wanapiga simu kupiga simu. Wanaona watu wameenda live.
Nashanga na mimi samahani sana.
Samahani sana ya hiyo.
Lakini
tutarudi pale tena.
Yeah, we are live and we actually using the phones to engage our viewers and listeners, whatever we are. So we will be getting back to you by comments, responding to your comments on the live feed and maybe calls.
Exactly.
After the show. And again, just a reminder, we are live on Thuku Mwita Thuku on Facebook and Sharon Paul Media on YouTube. Please follow and make sure that you subscribe as well, so that we can grow this family and we get to know what you'd like us to bring to you as we are proceeding on with the bipartisan mazungumuzo.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Bwana Sharon, wewe
wamefika pale
tukimalizia tukimalizia ituende kwa ingine.
Hii story hizi isha manake, I think we equally need experts.
Exactly.
To come on board,
to come and
so
discuss on this.
We can really dissect this thing and get to understand it using the layman's language, so that when the talks are going on, there are so many terminologies that are being used, but if we can get somebody who can really dissect it to us well, especially this one that now you're talking about, why can the president go for infinity?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why not 6 months? But quite honestly, Bona Sharon, and this is a conversation that should be held in this country. I do not understand why we need to stick with 5 years, where we have a very serious talk that is here. 5 years, I do not think it is quite adequate for Kenya right now. Let me not say African countries, for Kenya right now. Because, first of all, elections are quite expensive, Bona Sharon. Let me tell you that. I can promise you that. Elections are quite expensive. Secondly, there is so much uncertainties with what is going to go on post-election. And that is why you see business comes to a standstill a year before election. Every investor, we've been laid off, you know that, because investors were quite afraid of what is going to go on with elections. So a lot of stuff goes to a standstill right before elections.
Before, during, and after.
And post-election. And this is something I believe we need to look through and say, maybe we should have maybe a 7-year term where we've given adequate time for whomever is put in power to come up with a report, ama to come up with substantial things that we can say, mtu alichukua loan, akatengeneza barabara, na akalipa hiyo loan yeye mwenyewe. Hajaachia the predecessor a loan ya kulipa without development. You get my point?
And
that is one of the examples I'm giving. I'm not saying because I'm not sure. I'm sure you're going to you've already cocked the gun on this to shoot, but that is one of the examples I've given.
Actually, what I wanted to put across just before we continue, this 7-year term, is it a one-off? Unaingia miaka 7 ukiendanga ama you can...
It's renewable. There is the threshold of 2 terms, sindio? But the one term length should be at least 7 years. 7 years is adequate time to say, Bona Sharon, let me ask you a question. Term ya Uhuru ilianza lini? His Excellency, the former president, 2012. Uhuru, 2012. Saizi ametoka. Kuna watu walikuwa wanaona hiyo itaisha. 10 years is over. That is 2 terms. You see, if the president was given maybe a 7-year term, do you believe he would have done something? If he did the expressway in how many years? 1.5 years, I believe. It was 1.5 years.
20 months.
18 months, I believe so. Just imagine this president had another extension of 2 years. Probably he would have made a very substantial paying back of the loans that he had procured. You get my point? Okay. Maybe we are giving these people a very short time to do imaginable things, unimaginable things. Maybe it's playing out in their head, but when it's reality, it is not doable.
You know, a discussion was going on somewhere, and somebody mentioned that if you feel that the 5-year term is not adequate, and you want to be given 2 extra years, because there's that first year of getting the your cabinet and the entire government into shape, and then the other 1 year for maybe exiting, or now you start campaigns. It means that you and your people are not well organized. If you are an organized team, by the time you get into power, you've been inaugurated and everything is now moving. You only need, what does it take? Because this is a team that you've been working with. You know who fits where. In a month or so, your team should be down to work. 5 years, for me, is just sufficient enough. The American Constitution only gives a president 4 years to work. And they deliver and they go home. Trump tested for only a term and he went. And now Biden is there. Nobody knows whether he'll be running again for the second time because age is equally catching up. But still what we say, this is an open discussion. People have different opinions and thoughts about this. Let the seniors and the experts in this area of jurisdiction get down to serious talks. We see where whatever is going on at the bipartisan talks at Bomas will reach us. But Waswahili wanasema cha msingi zaidi, we see on how we lower down hali ya maisha kwa mwananchi wa kawaida, ule Atieno na Wanjiku na Amina na Swabra popote walipo na Kimuyu, so that life can be affordable. You're parting short as we move to the next topic.
Yes. So now, Bona Sharon, let us give the dialogue a chance. Let us be very, very engaged in these conversations. And second of all, Bona Sharon, I would really want our politicians to be people tuneza iga, role models. I do not expect a politician who people I'm looking up to aende achukue mic aanze kusema, aanze kurubbish the talks. Na tunajua vizuri sana hizi talks zinalipiwa na pesa zetu.
It pains a lot.
It pains a lot. Moving on to the next conversation.
Okay, that is it with the bipartisan talks, and I think they're moving out of. They'd moved out to Nairobi. Talks are going on in Nakuru. They engage other senior members, senior citizens of the country to try and bring their thoughts and opinions.
Padia lazima itafutwe.
Hiyo people watu wako kazini, hata mimi nikipata pali naambiwa enda utoe maoni yako.
Lazima padia itafutwe.
Nitakimbia na maana it feels nice when you pay and you equally get paid back.
Ni kweli.
Now we want to indulge kidogo kabisa katika nyanja ya kisport.
Yes.
Hapa ndugu yetu kutoka upande wa Bonde la Ufa.
Yes.
Ndugu
Kipchoge.
Tayari tena akafanya vizuri kule ngambo, akikimbia vizuri. And then we also have another league, Kipyegon. You know, we pride a lot in our athletics, in the entire sports arena in Kenya. So zile kufika pale wakashindwa na the Starlets jaribu kufika pale wakashindwa. We help people to fly high the Kenyan flag. Eliud Faith Kipyegon.
Yes.
Kabla hujasema chochote kwa hawa wawili, Eliud Kipchoge niliona pale watu wameanza kuzipiga gumzo kuhusu miaka yake. Mimi sijui, lakini niliona wakisema ako na miaka 39.
It is very wrong.
Is very young, man. For you to perform that kind of running, you still have to be young, energetic, and you still have your muscles checked well.
Kumaintain ile mbio sio mchezo.
Ati?
Kumaintain ile mbio sio mchezo, lakini sasa Wakenya ni wale.
Wamezua sana mtandaoni.
Wanasema ule jamaa kwani anazeekea wapi?
Congratulations, our very able brother Eliud Kipchoge and Faith Kipyegon. We really appreciate where you're putting Kenya in the national, not even the national, but the global grid.
And I believe the drive back home is something else, Bona Sharon. I was very surprised to see Eldoret that walifunga barabara and nobody complained, nobody misbehaved.
Yeah, when you were watching it, when it was going live.
Yes. People are very disciplined. Kuna hii barabara ya pale ukitoka Ketia ukipanda hivyo juu.
Ketia supermarket.
Yes, ukipanda kwa roundabout on the other side CBD, sasa. Yes.
Eldoret Town.
Yes. Ilikuwa imefungwa hapo and watu walikuwa wakasetiwa stage vizuri sana. Everything was nice. Na watu wakawatchia pale live, the screens zikawekwa pale, watu wakashangilia, people are very disciplined. Hakukuwa ati na polisi wakushinda wakifukuzana na watu. People came, wenye waliambiwa wakae kando, they kae kando, VIPs and it was a good thing. Na mpaka Kipchoge akiwa kule, akiona hizo picha baadaye, hata kama alishindwa ama angeshinda ama whatever the outcome was going to be, I'm sure he was going to feel proud of where he came from. He was going to feel appreciated for his efforts. You get my point?
I get you.
Yes. Kipyegon alilipo. Paid.
Mbona wasilipo?
That the lady is very beautiful.
Okay, I didn't get your question. What did you ask?
Alilipo.
Tukisema timafisi wako ndio hawa tu.
Let me just appreciate some few people here.
Yes, please.
I'm going to appreciate one of my cousins, anaitwa Mr. Maina Amos.
Shukran sana Maina Amos popote ulipo.
Yes. Bwana Eric Munyao.
Munyao nimemwona hapo.
Yeye kijana mzuri sana pale.
Nduka Davia Mondo.
Yeah, jack of all trade. Let me just make you laugh kidogo.
Kidogo pia nimeona wakili Zaki
Odinga. Wakili nimeona pia amejoin pale Zaki.
Karibu sana, ndipo tuko tu katikati ya mazungumzo bado tujana mbali.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think is one of the guys that we really need to bring on board when we are dissecting these things of the political arena. Tueleze sana ni nini iko ndani ya hii katiba yenye sisi the layman labda kidogo hatuelewi. You wanted to tell me something?
Bwana Felix is also in.
Karibu sana.
Bwana Felix, a good friend of yours. Bwana Josh naona pia ametujoin sasa.
Josh, karibu sana, senior researcher. We are waiting for your report.
Actually, he sent me the report. I have it on mail. We are going to evaluate later, and we are going to come up with a show later in the week. Thank you sana, Bwana Josh, for joining us. So now, Bwana Eric Munyao, let me just give you a story kidogo before we move on to the next one.
Usianike mtu hapo.
Sitaanika mtu, lakini Eric anafaa kuanikwa. Eric is one of those hustlers that will do anything. Eric
Kongole popote ulipo.
Yeah.
Bwana Eric sana, one of our very ardent supporters.
Yes. So I'm told some of our data collectors some time back wako pale Saika waki collect data. I do not know if you remember, there's a project that used to run some time back. What do you call the magazine? What do you call this magazine? What do you call it, this magazine? There was the educative magazine that used to come kitambo kidogo. Ile footballers.
Oh yeah, I remember. It was inside one of the dailies.
Yes.
I remember it.
So now, the data collectors wanatembea, there was this movie shop. It was either movie shop, salons, barber shop, or those entrepreneurs. They used to be given checkpoints kama vile unaona M-Pesa ziko ndani ya biashara zingine. So this youth used to go to this Mashujaa. Mashujaa. Yes.
You really thought it.
Yes. They used to set up these collection points for these magazines in these businesses zenye ziko mtaani. So Saika, because of its diverseness in activities, you have football clubs, you have water views, walikuwa na a shop specifically for Mashujaas. So these are collectors are going around looking for this shop, and they walk into the shop and they find none other than Eric Munyao. One of them is in that shop.
Ini duka yake. It's called doing it smart.
Yes. No. So I used to come from, there was a time we came from Meru with this guy. So me tunafika pale Kasarani. The guy is changing into what do you call it? Apron. He's going to Rivers kutengeneza stima. I'm wondering, what is this guy doing? He's a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Yes.
In Nairobi, you survive.
If you need mugs,
you must
branded,
be somebody with very many skills.
Yes.
To survive, yeah.
If you need mugs branded, if you need bags branded, if you need banners.
We've really interacted a lot.
Eric Munyao about is the guy.
His side hustles.
Yes.
Yeah, just to wind on the sport arena, because most of these sporty activities, we equally have to have somebody like Gak, the senior sports presenter at KE Studio, atuchambulie. And we can also see that African Cup of Nations is coming home. Sorry. It's a good thing. And now the you that is you and the Kikuyu in you, I know you're seeing a lot of business opportunities with this.
Yes, much as I'm seeing any businesses, I read somewhere this morning that we are likely to find some another Kimwarel activity going on. Hopefully, nobody is seated anywhere waiting for the monies to be dispatched so they can dip their fingers into that. Yes,
On the flip side, where now we see it as a better thing.
And it's very disappointing because I was reading. I was reading it. We understand. I was reading a post of Matamuchi ya Chida. I was reading on one of our waheshimiwa's post, Langatawan, that is Mheshimiwa Felix Oduor.
Excuse me.
Now he was, let me say, complaining. He was complaining of how we are not fully packed for this thing. This is a comment you would expect from someone like me, Thuku Moita with nothing, not Mheshimiwa, not nothing. But these are comments you do not expect from a Mheshimiwa. You really do not expect a comment from a Mheshimiwa stating that we do not have enough financial muscle to pull this, enough 5-star hotels to host this thing. I would expect a Mheshimiwa to be actually
giving it a positive vibe.
Yeah, giving a positive vibe. You see how our president goes to the States. Ukisikiza venye anaongea about Kenya unaweza sema Kenya ni binguni kidogo ilikuja
it's some little heaven in Africa.
He sells his country with a passion. Anajua vizuri sana hapo hakuna kitu, lakini if you've ever listened to his excellency venye akona huko nje, he sells this country with a passion. But today I was quite disappointed to read that post with from Mheshimiwa Jalas. And you know Jalas has a very huge following, even outside.
01.
Yes, he has a very huge following even outside. So it is not a comment that one should make when he's a Mheshimiwa. I believe he should be selling this country in a more positive way. Acha wakuja wapate vibanda. Lakini tusiwaambie mtakuja kupata vibanda. Ndio. Let them come. Wakuja wapate vibanda, wakuja wapate mboga, wakuja wapate nani, but let us not sell our country short as it is right now. We know we do not have those things, but let them come. Si ndio?
Unajua pia kwa kuzungumza kwake, maybe there are some things he knows that we don't. However, I felt maybe it was a little bit too early to share that out.
To share that.
Maybe he ought to have left it to trickle in at the best time. Now, that is sports. We've seen Kipchoge, Eliud Kipchoge, Faith Kipyegon. Ndio alilipwa kama kuna namba yake ya simu unaweza mtafuta.
Inaweza taka hiyo namba sana.
Utapata ya kwamba tayari akona mpoa wake. AFCON is coming home. Let's celebrate and make hay out of this. Now, there's a topic that I also came across just the other day. You know, in our lifetime, you'll already see that this is just a little bit into relationship matters. And actually, whatever that was being talked about was how healthy or unhealthy is relationship in the places that people work, in our work environment. Because utapata mwalimu ameoa tu mwalimu, daktari ameoa CEO fulani, banka ameoa banka. Ni kidogo tu utapata somebody working in maybe in one sphere has gone out to look for maybe somebody like a banker now.
What you mean is the tree doesn't fall far from
men we tend to zero graze. Kwanza siku hizi bwana nguvu imeisha. Unataka wewe unafanya bank pale Ludhuli, unataka kutoka hakuna bank Ludhuli. Unafanya bank pale Moyaveni, unataka kutoka Moyaveni unaenda kutafuta daktari fulani
uko juu. So you just gather what is around.
You just gather what you have within your immediate radius.
You make it due.
Yeah, of which it had both sides of the coin. Some people are saying it's good. Some people are saying some nitty-gritties that you're in the same office, working together, umelikosana kwa nyumba, you have to drive in the same vehicle going to the house. Sijataja Lulu la Rashid, lakini I think that is a special.
Unataka shida. Mimi naona unataka shida. Unatafuta shida.
When it reaches that kind of that level of now professionalism and seniority, you see, now mtu atakuwa tuna gari yake, hata kama mlichokozana kwa nyumba, everybody is driving kwa gari yake anaenda kazini, mnafika pale ndio umefika saa 1 za usiku, mnasema haya karibu katika makala ya habari hizi. All you need to be smiling, you see.
You seem to be circling back to the same couple because you mentioned some more.
I was giving a random example. Now maybe your take about relationships between people working in the same environment.
I do not know how you do it. Can you play us? There's a clip you played for me this morning. Would you be in a position to play that clip for us? Because I think what I'm trying to say, what I'm about to say right now, with that clip, a lot of light will be brought into this conversation. Okay. Is it possible for you to play that clip?
As I look for it,
yes,
you can give us your first thoughts about dating, courting, and the same work environment.
What I've come to realize, and this is something that has been told time and again, most of the motivational speakers and other people have said this in so many platforms. Bona Sharon's pace gives respect. Absence gives respect. You see, if you're going to be with your wife in the house, at work, wherever else, and come back home, then the respect that was there when you started is not going to be there. You see, if absence will always bring respect and need. You see, so if as you said, you're doing the evening news with your wife, and then you go back home with your wife, you're using the same vehicle, you're sleeping in the same bed, you're watching the same TV in the same living room, then when do you give each other space to breathe? You get? So I believe it's only logic, and it's only, I do not know the words to use, but give yourself some space to breathe. You see, when you're here, your wife is somewhere else, your spouse, your relationship partner is somewhere else, you give yourself some space to even discover other things. You get, I'm not saying you go exploring, but just discover one or two kwa macho. You get? But when you overdoing things and interacting too much, then I think you give each other the creeps. You don't even...
But there's these people who are so much in love that you will always see them together. They work in the same industries, wako pamoja, hausikii kama kuna issue yoyote.
Ipatie time, my brother. Give it time. Time heals everything.
We have musicians who are in the same industry. I've never seen politicians there.
No. You see, SP, what you see in the news, and you most of all being... a media person should know. What you see in the news is not what happens behind curtains. You get my point? Yeah. So you'll do your sets, maybe a few hours, then you all go your own ways, looking for other activities to do out there. But you cannot do everything together, Bona Sharon. Trust me, those marriages never last.
So for you, it's about space.
Yeah, it's about space.
Other partner
give your partner some space.
And in a nutshell, you're trying to say relationships at workplace for you is...
That's a no. Nataka vizuri sana ucheze hiyo kitu. Sijui kama umeipata.
Nimeipata.
Cheze hiyo kitu, tusikie kidogo. So
nilienda mazishi nyingine ya accountant wa shule.
I do not have my headphones.
Wajua alisema anataka itangazwe ni nini ilimuua. Si ikatangazwa amekufa na HIV. Nakwambia hiyo mazishi hata before ifike katikati nilikuwa naona walimu kwa choo wakihara. Hata deputy. Hey, watu wanapiganga mechi. Workplace watu.
Let me just cut it down. Now, this is a story I came across some time back, and I kept in Nikasema, I'll come and share. So this lady is talking about a very beautiful CFO. This is a chief financial officer who was working somewhere. And then this lady passed. How much it was maybe content creation or it's a true story. May her soul rest in peace. Because even if she was a character in this content, she passed. So this lady passed. And she requested that in her eulogy, isemekane ni nini ilimuua. Sasa siku mazishi watu wako pale, other staff members kutoka shoza CFO in a school. Pale alikuwa anafanya kazi, kuna wale male teachers, mwenye shule, director wa shule pia walikuwa pale. Wameketi tu hivyo wanaendelea kusoma eulogy, alafu ghafla boom. Wakaambiwa haya sasa huyu mrembo kile kilichomuua alikufa kutokana na hili gonjwa kubwa ambalo linaitwa HIV/AIDS.
Yes.
Sasa hapa the trips to the toilet
started.
Sasa kusema tu vile alivyokuwa akisema, watu walianza kuhara. Alikuwa na watu wanaenda tu kwa choo. Watu wanaenda kwa choo. Kwa wale ambao wako wamefika msalani, pale wherever they were sitting, those guys were soaking sweat in their handkerchiefs. So it's still as in work environment. There are those times that people go extra. You know, you never know what's happened behind kazi imeisha, where people are going. But you find out in this situation, there's a very beautiful CFO. Maybe she knew what she was doing. And Ali gawa kugawa.
It's matter of convenience, Bwana Sharon.
Yeah.
So you'll find someone working 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. So it is only easy to make a very quick snack where you are. So you just grab what is around you and I have a bite. You see?
Umesema yule snack. Ile haraka. But these things happen because even you'll find that at the India parties of most of these very big organizations, the following day when now the cleaners are there, the cleaners wana complain sana. Vitu ambavyo vimewachwa huko.
Yes.
Hazikuangi vitu za kusema.
Hazikuangi vitu za maajabu. And you see, Bwana Sharon, the examples you're giving about working with your wife, monopoly is something that destroys everything. That is why competition is out there. We even have authorities that manage competition. So if you do not have that, trust me, monopoly will kill you alive, Bwana Sharon. It will strangle you alive. That is why you see these kind of things happening. Simply because you have, probably this CFO was married to one of the co-workers, but since hana ile njia ya kwenda huko nje, so he makes do what she has. Anachukua ile snack iko karibu. So, and because we are all adults, naambiaga watu hivi, your wife is not your child. Your wife is an adult.
She's
same as you, equally as you. There are decisions she's going to make na hautajua. But na probably utajua. But she's an adult. She's going to make these decisions whether you like it or not.
As well as you, some of the decisions that you're going to make.
Exactly.
You make as an adult.
Hauwezi fungia binadamu mzima. Binadamu ako na akili yake, huwezi mzuia kufanya chenye atafanya. So would you rather they did those things in your face ama while you do not know? Si heri ukose kujua hizi vitu.
Afadhali you be
heri ukose kujua, Bwana Sharon. Ukwe tu mzima haujui what is going on. You see? So
the truth that you don't know
doesn't hurt you. You get? So if you're going to be there's a lot of embarrassment. As much as you're going to say, hey, ni maisha yake hata nimeachana naye, but there's a dent that is going to be left in you. The manhood is new is going to be squashed and some notches down kidogo utavutwa chini back to size kidogo tu. You get? So na binadamu ni wafani sana. So that is why I say, please, if you can, avoid working with your wife. Please avoid.
Avoid working with your wife.
Avoid working with
your husband.
Exactly.
Just be
in your own space. So uki misbehave, you misbehave. She's intact. Her emotional ego is intact. Your emotional ego is intact.
But
nobody is
as a
hurting
man,
the other.
won't you be feeling like now I'm watching over her, I'm keeping her safe? You know these flats that take place in our work environments. They always say that in every other office, you'll find this one person that is really tickling your spouse more than akiona message yake and you could check. So when
and you think when you think when you're there, she's not going to be tickled. My friend.
Why are you addressing me? It is not me. I'm just giving it a general public overview.
It's gotten to you already.
No, now you're using.
I'm using you
the second person. You are addressing of viewers.
my viewers.
Our viewers.
Our viewers.
Yeah.
Bona Sharon.
You say, however much you're there will still be somebody who will be tickling.
Let me tell you something. And please take this to note. It does not matter if you're there few inches from her. If you're there holding her hand the whole day, if she wants to be tickled, she will be tickled by whomever eggs.
And please, let's not just
Whomever
refer,
pleases her.
let's not just refer to the girl child. We can equally
To the boy child equally, not the girl child. Please, this is with equal measures. So if your man, if your woman wants to misbehave, if they want to do anything, they will do it. And this is why I'm telling people, please do not go stabbing people or killing people. Because it does not matter how many times you stab them. If they want to do something, they will do it.
Even if
Buddha,
police them.
If hata ukiwashika mkono ushinda nao, my friend, atamtumia text tupatane pale nyuma. Utaenda na yeye kwa washroom.
Mimi uzuri tangu tuanze kufanya kazi hapa naona tu ni wanaume tupu. Which Pierre does not really spice, you know. Every other day when you wake up in the morning, there's not they call them the office girlfriend, the office boyfriend. Kuna tu ile kitu na kusema hey, it's Monday but I'm going to see so and so. Lakini hapa kwetu bwana unaingia mwana kufungulia mlango mwanaume. Utapata pale kwenye control room, in production room. Sisi ambao tuko hapa. Wajua hiyo story pia, if you feel that you can avail yourself to help us spice the focus group by having an extra gender here. Tafadhali.
By then, there's a time I saw you trying to bring something very unique to the show of the lady thing. What happened?
It's still in the pipeline. The associate that we were talking to had a little engagement, but I think she should be getting back to us in regards to having on board. And pia kidogo unajua tulikuwa na pilika mingi za kujaribu kuona vile tunakimu maisha. You've been away, you know. Sipia umetembea bwana.
Ni kujaribu kujenga nchi.
Yeah, you've been away. I've been equally involved in other activities, but we are glad that we are back. This is the focus group. Tupate pale katika mtandao wa kijamii at Tuku Mwita Tuku at Sharon Paul SP. That is our Facebook handle. That's where we'd always go live. And even if we haven't recorded productions, we'll be posting them there. And at Tuku Mwita Tuku as well. And Sharon Paul Media on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
Once you're there, please follow us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. We really appreciate for all those who have been there with us, and the very many times that people have been asking, Hari Tuku walienda wapi? Greetings from Kisumu Dala and Homa Bay Pacho, from Jaco Unda and Daktari Ken. Wanaulizia sana, you know, they call you Hari Tuku.
Hari Tuku. Me niko around. We spoke with Ken sometime. When was it? The last time we were with you, I think we spoke with Ken.
Yeah.
Yes,
they both called.
Yeah, they both called, yeah. Tunakuja. Lakini, are they in Homa Bay ama Kisumu?
Those are my boys from home, but they hustle.
They hustle in Kisumu.
They hustle in Kisumu.
Nakuja very soon.
Yeah.
Nakuja sana huko tutafanya mambo huko.
So maybe just to get a parting shot as we come to a close of our show today. It was a reintroduction of the focus group. We've been away for some time and we are glad to be back. Mr. Tuku.
Yes.
Gawia watu yale mazuri ambayo umepotea nazo.
So mine, that is a whole other discussion we're going to have with time. But this is what I would tell the people of Kenya. For some time now, we've had so much reactions on matters governance and matters politics as they are in this country. But up until there's some form of clarity to what is going on, then most of the people will always be in the dark. So Kenya, as we know it, there's this thing called the dialogue, that is the bipartisan talks. The reason why they're called the bipartisan talks, it's because there is there is recipiency. Is it recipiency?
Recipient, yeah.
What do you call it?
We, the consumers of all this that is happening.
Yes. There is a dialogue between certain people. There is a dialogue between A and B. I'm a A and Z. I'm a A and J, whatever you like to refer to use. So let us give these talks a chance. And these talks should not circle back to the politics, to the, what do you call it, to the election. I'm about the post-election outcomes. Whatever literal thing that you feel are your grievances, please forward them to this team. And I believe it is going to have an impact in the report they're going to bring. But all in all, we had a very huge summit that was in this country, the ACS, that was a success. I can promise you this. I heard some views from foreigners, and they did not believe this country was going to pull that thing.
Wazungu.
Not even Wazungu. Even our fellow Africans. They did not believe. I had on one chat with a very senior member of the Zambian country. He's slightly below the communication head in the hierarchy of the communication in Zambia. In Zambia. And this is what he told me. He told me that he did not believe this was going to be pulled off in the magnitudes that was pulled off. ACS was a success in this country. ACS gave a film, it gave a frame for this continent to match suit. I can promise you that whatever you're going to be seeing following subsequently in this continent, it is going to be a reflection of what you saw in the ACS. ACS was a success. ACS was something that was planned to the core. ACS was, but I can promise you this. We set a standard in this continent that is unmatchable, even in the West, even in the East, even wherever you're going to go. People, countries with resources, has equals in our mini that we could pull that off.
Okay, that was about the African Climate Change Summit that was taking place in Ukumbi wa KICC, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago.
And you know the funny thing? KICC was just a host of the main event. But there's a lot that happened across this country that people never got to see. And that is why I'm telling Kenyans, please keep in touch with your politics. Keep in touch with whatever is going on, is happening in this country. Because most probably, people in Naivasha, people in Nakuru, people in Nanyuki, people in, not Homabe, Kisumu, never got to know there were activities that were going on in their own backyard involving the ACS. They were there.
It was a whole magnitude.
There was a website. There was what communication was streamlined to the mpaka pale chini kwa ile kidole kidogo ya pale chini. So if you took initiative kidogo to follow up, trust me, you would have seen the amount of effort that was put into this thing. Me, I'm out.
Okay, this has been the focus group on the tarehe 3 mwezi wa 10 na zimekatika dakika 23 ndani ya saa 9 za jioni. Tunasema shukrani sana kwa kukuwa nasi katika muda huo wote, na tukimalizia tukingoja pia kuona
by the way, before you fold this Bwana Sharon, let me just ask you kidogo. See, maybe you give just an education kidogo of what goes on in this show, because there's a lot of people who've I had some questions mahali nilikuwa nimeketi, and people did not quite understand what we do in this show. Besides the humor and besides the random stories, maybe you tell people what exactly was intended for this show.
Okay, the Focus Group is an online talk show that Mwita, Tuku, Mwita, and Sharon Paul always bring to you as our viewers. Our intended objective, especially for this show, is to keep you enlightened in matters education, matters health, matters politics, of which we always talk a lot about, matters going around sports, and any other trending issue that is there to be discussed about. However much we continue our discussions, we always try and touch on other topical issues that will bring education, information to our viewers, and break it down so that we can understand these things at the layman's language. We have been doing a background study on most of these topics that we bring to you, because every other topic that we discuss has been done an in-depth research. We have vast experience on social and market research, which help us to understand the dynamics of the topics that we bring to you, and what the society needs to hear, and what we need to bring to you. And that is why we always request you to follow us and subscribe, and you let us know what topical issues you would like us to bring to you, so that we can indulge in that, do a research on that, and we bring you the report. Keep following us so that we can continue to grow this show into a family show that will be educating you and keeping you informed about all the topical issues that we share in this society. Maybe if you can just add on something before I close this with a very nice song that somebody requested me to play for them.
Niko sawa? Mimi niko fiti kabisa.
Wawekeza wimbo kidogo. Nilikuwa nasema ni dakika 26 sasa zimegonga ndani ya saa 9 za jioni, na bwana director sijui ameondoka, lakini tutamalizia tu hii nikituma shout out. Ulisalamia Mrs. Mwita? Please fikisha salamu zangu za dhati kwa Mrs. Mwita. Nimekutana na yeye jana, we had a very heavy lunch. Thank you so much, ma'am, if you're watching us wherever you are.
She's watching. She's actually watching.
Yeah,
she normally watches on YouTube. Hana Facebook kidogo. She watches on YouTube. She's watching. I can see her calling and sending messages. She's live watching. Yes.
As well as special greetings to Lilian wherever you are. Tukikuja ngambo ingine, all our friends and fans wherever you are, tunasema shukran. There's one guy called Jacobi, ama unaweza Kobi. Wherever you are in Maraland, you also are very keen fan of this broadcast, as well as our very lovely friend Lady Golda, of which I'm playing this special request to them.
Willy Sionga, WS. Ma Germaine Lubasu Noki. Dani Makomi Dama.